Okay, hello YouTube and Twitch. Gonna be streaming once again, the Long Dark, picking up from where we left off last time, which I believe was part 14 from checking the YouTube studio. Obviously it's a fewer parts earlier than that in Twitch VODs. So the earlier Twitch VODs at this point are not up. So if you're on Twitch, watching this as Twitch VOD or have rewinded watching it live, you probably want to go ahead and watch some of the we may want to watch some of the earlier parts on YouTube. As far as the Twitch VOD is concerned, I think I put it in the go live notification where the username is. Forgot to drink. I might have taken some damage there from dehydration. Drinking early and I'm drinking before sleeping. Oh, we are a bit low on water. We will probably want to cook. We're heavier than we probably want to be for general travel. I think we're fine otherwise. Okay, so I slept a couple hours in game to warm the character up so that we can make the trip. It does appear to be a cold morning in the game. So right now we're in the point of the game where we need to begin the crafting. So we've got ourselves the crafted knife and hatchet. So the next thing to craft is the bow and arrows. So we just finished going around and picking up all our ingredients for making those bows and arrows. So now we're going to go to the site where I'm going to do the crafting. And to be fair, I'm not going to necessarily sit in one site. One trick on Interloper is to some degree, always be moving. What I'm probably going to do right now is, my plan is to get to the dam. So we're going to go through the canyon up here and go to the dam. And in the dam, I'm going to do crafting for the game day. And then once that crafting is done, the trick will be I'll go down during the night, so the early night. I'm going to head down to the rabbit grove, where we set up rabbit traps earlier. And I'm going to harvest those rabbits, set the traps back up if they're mostly intact. And then probably sleep the night away in-game, what remains of the night, so I can do more crafting in the game morning. And when that crafting's done, hopefully we'll have a bow and arrow between the two sets of crafting sessions, and we'll begin hunting. Where and what we'll hunt, I will probably be deciding right about then. Food-wise, hunting deer would probably be better than bear. Though bear has the better crafting goodies we can get off of it, so it's still very tempting to do bear first.
Too cold to think.
It's apparently a cold day in game. We barely went any real distance and we're already back to cold and taking damage. Which might be... well, to be fair, this might end up meaning I take a stop on the way over the dam, which will cut the crafting session a little short. Be shorter than I would want it to be. You know what, with the fact that we're taking damage, let's drink one of these Birch Bark teas, both for the hydration and the calories, and temporarily delaying, well, slowing our health loss. So, Restore Condition, I think, heals you 2% condition an hour. Whereas we're taking 20 from the cold right now. obviously we don't want to be in-game cold for very long. But at the same time, I don't really want to stop to warm up, because I have plans that require daylight hours, and we're currently burning those daylight hours. Yeah. So, I suppose I could go over some channel announcements as we're kind of doing the tedious bit of walking from place to place here. As far as the channel is concerned, my schedule is actually going to be a little bit more open than I'd originally planned, so I'll be able to get a little bit more recording done, so I should pretty reliably be able to stick to the 2 videos a day, something like half an hour. One going live at noon, one going live at 6. Probably can actually record more than that, but I'm going to try, because I know there's also going to be an upcoming week and a half where I'm not able to record. So I'm going to try to record ahead of time so that when that period comes up and I don't have time to record, there's content going through that. So there may be a period where the live streams on Twitch are sufficiently far ahead of what's on YouTube that the gap between the two will actually probably fall off on Twitch, because I might get more than 7 days ahead. Which is probably going to affect the Long Dark more than the other game I play. Insofar as you might have some missing content that you can't catch up with related to the ongoing game. Whereas the other slot, I'm going to try to keep to slightly shorter games. So things like Path of Exile, we had all of Path of Exile done in like 14 parts. So I think basically all of that was up on either Twitch or YouTube at any given time, or some combination of the two. If it wasn't up on one, it was up on both of them. Whereas there's Long Dark at this point where we're got enough parts up that the earlier parts are no longer up on Twitch. So I can imagine a period where we've got parts up on YouTube and parts up on Twitch, and the parts in between are not up for people to see. Though I think some of the viewership at this point is already skipping some spots, so if they want to go back to them, they'll be up eventually. They just won't be up all at the same time. Yeah, this is a walk. We're about halfway, well, a little over halfway through. I'm gonna check in the cave that we haven't been in over here. There may be a deer carcass out in front of it. If there is, I will actually stop and warm up and harvest that carcass. If there isn't, I'll just push through to the dam. Definitely taking more damage than I would have liked. Maybe I'll delay going to the rabbit grove. Unless the weather is really nice after sunset. So I suppose when I'm crafting, I might be drinking a bunch of birch bark tea, and that might give me a bunch of the health pack. So there's a deer. So this is, if you're learning how to get good at shooting the bow and you want targets to actually move, this is a pretty decent biome for target practice, because there's no wildlife that hunts you in here. So while you can get into a scenario where you might not have any time to retrieve your arrows, that's really should be the only difficulty. Am I not? Oh, I am. If I actually get deep in the cave, I am warm here. Apparently the campfire is right about where we're not warm anymore. Okay.
So cold. Just want to lay down for a bit.
Sorry, Will. You have a whole bunch of crafting in your immediate future to do. You're at least not going to sleep for the next 6 to 12 hours. More birch bark. More birch bark. So there's frequently a deer carcass in front of that cave. There wasn't on this
All
run.
I can think about is food.
So we're not stopping there. Sometimes there's also one over here. At least on Starker, they're not mutually exclusive. They might be mutually exclusive on Interloper.
Too much stuff to carry.
Yeah, we'll have to see how much health I get back drinking birch bark tea as we craft. Because at this level of health, well, maybe if I have a torch up with this level of health, I'd be fine going to the rabbit grove. But I suspect it'd be a bit risky just walking there in the dark, because there would be wolves along the way. Yeah, basically at the end of the canyon. We should get in some crafting before this episode actually ends. And there's various type of crafting we need to do is less restricted than the blacksmithing forge work, because there's 3 forges in the base game, and there's an extra one in the far territories. Whereas these workbenches that we're going to go to are all over the place. You can do a lot more of the other work at these workbenches. So we're going to be making bow and arrow in this gaming session. Probably the next gaming session, if we get a good set of hunting going, we'll probably do some hide clothing make up some hide clothes. Okay, so we made it to the place where we're going to be, at least for the rest of the sunny hours. We got 30 minutes of restore condition on that, so we don't want to drink another one of the teas right away. Eat the peach pie. This tin of sardines is good enough that we don't have to worry about it giving us any food sickness. And we can use this workbench here. Obviously, there's no point in having an arrow until we have the bow. So let's go ahead and start on the bow. Let's put 1 hour into it. And with that hour in, we've gone ahead and finished gaining the benefits of the last birch bark tea. So we're going to drink a birch bark tea to start healing some more. Also to avoid dehydration. So now for 2 hours we have the birch bark tea effect. So we'll do 2 hours working our bow. And you can see as that's going along, our condition's going up, which is one of the reasons I'm doing what I'm doing. The condition's a little bit lower than I would like it to be. Another boost from the tea. Go, at this point I might as well just go the rest of the way on the bow. So let's get this bow done. Okay, so we've got ourselves a survival bow. Obviously I'll need to make some arrows. So let's make a batch of arrowheads, or a batch of arrows that we can combine to their arrowheads. So if we want to accelerate the production of arrowheads, we need a toolbox, which we don't have here. But I will make 1 arrow right now. And then it will probably get too dark. I'm going to take a little condition damage from dehydration. Too dark to make more, which I think will be fine. Let's see how cold it is outside. Okay, fairly cold at all. And if anything, I need to start a fire for water. So what we're going to do is I'm going to stick to the original plan. A little lower on condition than I would really like to be, due to the risk of potentially running into wolves. But we're going to go down and... Where are those crows? Oh, just to fly over. Whoops. We're going to go down to the rabbit grove and harvest those rabbits. If no other reason, then that's going to give us time to generate some water, because our character is a little bit short on water. Could definitely use more water. We do now have one shot on the bow. We'd like more than one shot, really, to go hunting. Or I'd like more than one shot to go hunting. Maybe you're a highly skilled archer and will headshot everything with one arrow. I am not quite that good. I can sometimes do that with wolves. To be fair, a lot of times when I'm shooting wolves, I only really ever get one shot anyway, because they tend to charge you. But for the bigger game that aren't wolves, right? So if I'm hunting moose, hunting bear, hunting deer, I like a little bit more than one shot. Because the deer I'm pretty bad at shooting. They tend to have a bad habit of dodging. And bear and moose, I'm trying to shoot from far enough away. I'm trying to long shot shoot them a lot. That sometimes I need a few for ranging in the range. Like I'm an artillery spawner trying to fire in the long range indirect fire. If you've seen some of the early parts, usually I don't follow the train tracks because there's usually some wolves on the train tracks. But because we want to go to the rabbit grove, I'm feeling it doesn't make sense to go along the ridge to get to where we're going just to cut across, so we can take a little bit of a shortcut by going along the railroad tracks like I am to get to the rabbit grove. With the understanding that I will probably need to light a torch at some point to drive off some wolves, which is why I usually don't follow the railroad tracks, because then I don't have to deal with the wolves. But because I already know I'm going to want to light that torch to make a fire to cook the rabbit, I am accepting that I will do that anyway. So the penalty for doing both choices are kind of in alignment, or the costs are in alignment. So I'm just going to do it to save a little bit of travel time, to get us where we're going, to get our food faster, and the water faster. Though I don't suspect that the rabbits probably aren't going to provide us very much food. It's going to probably be mostly food neutral while we're trying to gather the rabbit goods for making the rabbit gear. So we got 2 wolves there. At some point I will need to light a torch, so let's actually pull the torch out. Okay, I got a lot of bad torches, so I also need to start fire to prepare some torches, apparently. So that's the first wolf detecting us, which was expected. I was expecting that to happen. Might have been able to get a little bit closer, but... Drive off wolf. Tell wolf number 2 to get over here and run away. And there's apparently a third wolf. Come on, third wolf. Go away too. Thank you. If I'm more desperate for food, I think there is a deer carcass here. Yeah, I can just about see it with the torchlight. 1 deer carcass. I'm not that desperate for food, so I'm going to leave that deer carcass there. This is a decent through path, so if you're looking for feathers, it's a decent place to come check out for feathers. You leave the deer carcass there. Go off into the trail relent here and check to see if there's anything food related. I don't need that book. And no food. I suppose the other thing that might have been good to find in that, other than food, would have been matches. We could have potentially found a matchbook in there.
I'd better find some water.
My character thinking about what I'm thinking about, which is that we're a little bit low on water. Unless we start drinking the teas. We do have plenty of teas. Oh, interesting. I was getting a weird activation. Wasn't exactly looking at where the acorns were and worked over an acorn location. So acorns are a decent alternative to coffee. They're maybe not worth the effort to gather. But they are reasonably good items in their own right. They're just a bit overshadowed by coffee. There's a deer here, which means there probably aren't any wolves nearby. That's good. It looks like the natural rabbit spawns are back up. That's also nice. And we got a full set of traps. So 4 rabbits.
I'm gonna have to leave something behind.
Did we lose any snares? So probability says we should lose 1 snare. And apparently probability did not win today. So I'm going to set up the fire next to one of these logs, because then I can saw the log up for extra fuel. Using the warmth of the fire if we still have the fire when we're done harvesting the rabbits. You want to use accelerant here? Yeah, let's use accelerant here and just get this fire started. Guaranteed probably the fire starts. Pull in the fire. And we do want to make a bunch of water. In fact, actually, I'm going to go ahead and just harvest that wood right away. So, rabbits will start to defrost, which will make them easier to harvest. And I'm going to spend an hour harvesting the cedar limb. And Lamitas gives the water. Oh, I probably should have not drank that water and saved, and drank some tea instead.
Anything right now.
Calories. Where are we getting calories from? Eat a little bit of calories. We're probably gonna have a nice... Oh, I'm not thirsty. That's why I was thinking about not drinking the water. Okay, we can need a couple cattails to buy some time while we do the harvesting. In my mind, going a mile an hour, I'm not necessarily doing things in the quite perfect order. So we'll get the meat off, so when the water is done boiling, we can immediately slap meat into the cooking spots instead.
Something's gotta go.
Another 9 minutes, okay, so let's harvest meat off of one more. And we can take our water and start cooking some meat. No tool. We got a very tiny little scrap there. You done? No, you got like 2 seconds. So we'll go ahead and get the last bit of meat off the last rabbit. And then we'll have all the meat ready to go on the stove as the meat cooks.
I need to find food.
Alright, so that'll be the last cattail I need to eat while we are waiting for the meat to cook.
I need to drop something.
I suppose those of you who have been tracking the time on the fire, one might imagine the fire would have actually probably gone out by now. If you're in a low temperature environment, fires last longer in-game than they're advertised. So the time it's advertising is the minimum length of time the fire will last, not the maximum amount of time the fire will last. Because I just done the mental math myself and went like, wait, I put 2 hours of fuel in the fire, and if I've just taken the water off, I've obviously been working for more than 2 hours. Because to cook the water that way would have taken 2 hours of water, or 2 hours of fire. Some of the small bits, so doing birch bark instead of gut harvesting while we're doing that. Well, birch bark processing instead of harvesting gut. Okay, so that's 34 minutes. That should be enough to get the last of the guts off. We are going to want more time on this fire. That might get us enough to get all the hides off now. And the hides are probably, from a grand scheme, the most efficient to harvest with bare hand if they're defrosted. Okay. We may have enough time to harvest these in place. And if you've ever struggled with cabin fever, doing a lot of things like this outside is a very good way to sort of fight cabin fever. Because obviously this is work outside. So when you're warm like this, don't necessarily think, oh, I need to close up my fire and get indoors to do things to save fuel. Fuel is renewable, and you don't want to be stuck in a scenario where you're having to try to work through cabin fever when it's the middle of a blizzard or something like that outside. It's much better when you got a nice clear night like this to just be outside and get it done and over with. Taking a little bit of condition damage loss from dehydration, because I wasn't paying super attention to the hydration meter.
Soon.
We are about to have the character do some sleeping, so I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. Okay, I did note that I was low on torches, so I'm actually going to throw a few sticks in the fire to turn them into torches. Quickly harvest these torches for their sticks, and then I'm going to harvest more torches, because we're probably going to want a torch lit for the trip over to the camp office, just in case we attract wolf. So we can chase off any wolves that are giving us problems. 4 torches are probably fine. Though I might only get 3 out. I might not get the last one out, depending on how quickly I can get these extinguished. There we go. Oh, just missed the 4th one. Well, I got plenty of sticks, I'll just toss the stick on. Okay. There is that rabbit there. If I want to take the time, I could probably hunt that rabbit. Actually, apparently both rabbits have respawned, so I could technically hunt 2 more rabbits. But as you can see, that sort of processing. We did actually get a surprising amount of food. I'm surprised how much food we got out of that from an effort standpoint. I would have actually expected the character to still be a bit more hungry than it is. But once you add in all the fatigue from all the work time we went through, sleeping that off, we're probably not really going to gain all that many calories, right? It's not that calorific hunting rabbits. We're doing the rabbit hunting because we need the guts for a lot of the early crafting, and we want probably about 7 rabbit hides to get our rabbit goods going, right? So we want rabbit gloves, we want a rabbit hat. And at this point, we probably have enough rabbit gears all around, right? So rabbit parts all around. So we're mainly in the step where we're gathering the repair components. So if something goes wrong and they get damaged or worn out, we want more rabbit bits, right? So. So I'm going to end this. Oh, torch went out. I'm going to end this YouTube video when I step into this cabin. I'm going to take a very quick stretch on the stream and then restart up the next part. So this should be basically the end of part 15 of the Long Dark stream, or the Long Talk YouTube series. And I'll start recording part 16 right after it. So if you're watching on YouTube, this is probably about to be the end, unless we get jumped by a wolf in the couple seconds before we get to the camp office. We'll probably continue crafting, so we'll probably finish the crafting after a quick nap in the camp office during the next episode.
I wonder if I can...
Okay. See you in a bit, YouTube. So there'll be presumably another episode up the following day for you on YouTube.